Hello stars. So yes, this whole situation with CreepShowArts and her victimization of Emily Artful as well as Hopeless Peaches and her so-called friends that she was smack talking behind their backs. You know, it just made me think of so much to have to do with like psychopaths in the workplace and also, you know, in personal relationships, and there were so many dynamics happening at once. Let me grab a knife. You know, basically I'm gonna make some Persian cucumbers into some spa water, maybe add a couple of slices of jalapeno for heat. But this is my little Odom infusing pitcher, and it has a little sleeve where you put the sliced fruits or vegetables. You could use strawberries or fresh mint, even lemon or lime slices. But you know, one dynamic that I think that CreepShowArts was trying to set up was definitely to try to make herself seem like a victim along with her victims, right? To make it seem like she was the victim of doxing or hacking or any of those things, so that it was a Me Too thing in the most twisted of ways, you know, and then also, you know, stirring up all of that negativity about different people on Lolcow and other places to make sure that the people who were being clowned and demeaned would withdraw or stop being good or productive at what they were doing, and certainly not, you know, seek out more friendships and more relationships. It was a way to make herself, CreepShowArts, aka Shannon, into the in crowd and pick and choose people to be friends with, and then try to elbow other people out of the way. Does that sound familiar? You know, it's just disgusting, and you know, grooming her friends to be her, you know, defenders and flying monkeys, and that husband, perhaps, if not live-in boyfriend or common law husband, who knows? But you know, don't people have enough to do in their own lives without picking on other people and tormenting them? But it was like, this was their entertainment. This was their WWE. This was, you know, Friday night, sleeping in the van, or, you know, no wireless, no Wi-Fi at home, so they, you know, were at the public library or Starbucks causing trouble for other people. Does this sound familiar? Do you know any people like this? I know I do. It is just so richly emblematic of what people do when they are jealous and hateful and have an appetite for destruction in it. I think it's just so incredible to see, you know, a woman. Women aren't typically credited with being so diabolical over the long term, but you know, the obsession, the single white femaleness of it, the just vindictiveness, trying to destroy people, drive them to self-harm or game ending is, I mean, I really do hope YouTube steps into this to, you know, exert some discipline and consequences, and kudos to the people at Lolcow for, you know, not standing idly by and actually stepping up to enforce their standards. It is so needed and so rare. So besides the Persian cucumber, maybe a couple of slivers of jalapeno, just to give it a little bit of kick, not too much, because, you know, we know hot pepper can cause surprises about 6 to 12 hours after ingestion. We're just slipping these into our recycled ice cream container with the lid so that the rest of the stuff in the refrigerator won't smell like jalapeno or onion. I don't know. I do know. It's disturbing, but you know, I'm so thrilled with people for sharing all of the gory details, because I think when you're on the receiving end of this kind of stuff, you don't think anyone will ever believe you. because it's so crazy and outrageous and elaborate and intentional, right? Especially to hear Emily Artful talk about how the cops wouldn't help her and the private investigator discouraged her from taking it to court. You know, this isn't about the court of public opinion, and of course it's all allegedly, but I mean, you know, there at this point is ample evidence. There's a lot of pieces of the puzzle coming together. You know, if it's not true, wow. But if it is true, I think we're all on the same page of being wowed and disgusted and horrified. You know, like the damages inflicted on Emily Artful and other people, it's just outrageous. So once your fruits or vegetables are slivered, you put them inside the little sleeve, put them into your pitcher, and then add your filtered water. You know, one of the things that CreepShowArt used was it was a play on the word Brita filter, right? That was the account that contacted Emily Artful to claim that a 10-year-old boy that then became 15 was responsible for all of the, you know, passing around of underage nude photos of Emily Artful and, you know, kind of giving damaging information that was hacked from her YouTube account to her employers to get her fired on multiple occasions. I mean, just the kind of like, it's called duping delight. When narcissists fool you, right? Fool you into thinking they're going to help. Fool you into thinking that they're your friend. Fool you into thinking that you actually have a legitimate romantic relationship. Part of their joy is not just to fool you, it's to delight in the fact that you believe them, that you're like, oh, thank you, oh, you're so wonderful, oh, whatever, and they know from jump that it's BS. And it wouldn't be, it's like someone cheating on you. Like, they could cheat in private, no one would ever know, but they want to get caught because the delight is in the, what? Oh my gosh, I never thought you would figure it out. But it's not going to be as enjoyable for them if you don't, as the third party, if you don't get cuffed, if you don't feel humiliated, if you don't have your entire world just rocked by the fact that they would be so cruel. So, you know, this little sleeve lets the fruits and vegetables jump around and infuse the water with flavor so that you get, you know, a low calorie but delightful, interesting, refreshing drink that, you know, will help you stay hydrated in these difficult times. And, you know, you just have to drink it in a day or so, which is not difficult. But we also have an orange that we are going to slice up as we, you know, pursue hydration, and then, you know, making sure we get all of our servings of fruits and vegetables on the heels of some demanding work out in the desert. But yeah, the duping delight, also, you know, creating, you know, narcissists and people who are tricky like to create dynamics where they drive wedges between groups of people, right? So perhaps making sure that if you were suspicious of CreepShowArt, you wouldn't seek out friendships with any of her friends because you'd be afraid that they would be her flying monkeys, her henchmen, people who would defend her because she was love bombing them and being so wonderful. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, grooming her friends just as she was being as dastardly as could be to her targets. I won't even say enemies, because, you know, people didn't even know it was her. She had this like private vendetta and wasn't going to be up front and open about it. In fact, was, you know, trying to play friendly and trying to play sympathetic. I mean, it's a Lifetime movie, isn't it? It's so crazy. You know, and I've said this before, I think that CreepShowArt needs to forfeit all of her profits from this channel that she based upon the work of Emily Artful, and she owes damages to Emily Artful and to other people for being such a terrorizer. Allegedly. This is all alleged, but my theory is that if it's true, there are punitive steps that need to be taken, and if criminal court isn't a possibility, then civil court definitely should be. I'm up in arms, and I know a lot of other people are too. But in any case, you know, we want to get our vitamin C on so we don't get scurvy. Want to stay hydrated, and you know, we want to keep our strength and our spirit up to help out the people who have been suffering harassment and stalking online, and we want to put our heads together about how to stop and nip these situations in the bud. You know, to take the example of the admins of LolCow and do that in our own lives. Like, you know, I have definitely been in communication and thinking I'm friends with someone who's a stalker who, you know, stalked one guy of color and then stalked a colleague and his wife and all of that. Just this obsession and anger, and you know, this is someone who's keyed an ex-boyfriend's car and, you know, was like sleeping with a casting person and sued him, right? Told me about suing and sexual harassment, never told me she was, you know, having a sexual relationship with either guy, because they were both casting people. You know, people leave out they leave out details that would give you a fuller picture of how they got into the pickle. You know, they want to make it seem like they are a victim too, or that they're so relatable, and oh, you know, just like you, I suffered harassment, or I've suffered stalking, or whatever, and it's just a lie. It's a lie and a manipulation, and you know, I think it's instructive for all of us so that we can, you know, be a little skeptical, right? And see if people's words and actions and deeds and, you know, claims online, and, you know, to see if they're really truthful or if they're just posing. I think we all know how to, you know, say that we're for social justice, but really we're going to go vote for the candidate that isn't about social justice. Or, you know, we're going to, you know, say one thing, do another. Those are things that adults do. And I think this whole situation with all of these different women and different people just reminds us that we need to be vigilant and stay tuned in to all signals, right? Compare notes. A lot of people are doing that now, and it really is painting a terrifying picture. But I'm glad collectively minds were able to come together and tell stories and share and kind of figure this out before worse things happen. You know, who's to say this is the end of it, right? These people are very good at putting on their mask of, oh, I'm such a nice person, you know, in another community with another screen name. It's a lot. So anyway, let me get to my delicious beverage and my orange and do the dishes. And, you know, I'll be back with another one, hopefully soon. I do want to do a haul of all of my different, it's Pride Month here in the United States. I do want to show you all of my cute Pride gear, because, you know, it's time to celebrate. People should be free to live and express their identity without fear, and without people online harassing them, or, you know, speaking with forked tongues, saying they support it on the one hand and then anonymously posting, you know, slurs and all the rest of it. You know what's going on. Anyway, peace out, stars. I hope to see you in the next episode here on the House of Tanya channel.